Now welcome to a review of the third episode of Agatha All Along on Disney Plus, where we're going to open with your thoughts on this one.
Well, there were a couple twists and turns. The ending was a surprise, but all in all, I'm still on board for the fun Halloween witchy mystery.
It was okay. I'll give you the surprise at the end. I didn't expect anybody to die. I actually was kind of sitting there thinking about what I was going to talk about in the review, and I'm like, oh, how predictable it was. They just get through the trial and move on to the next one.
No, they lost Sharon. Are they going to lose a witch every trial? What's going on here?
Could you see it where they lose a witch every trial, and Agatha gets kind of her wish of just being the last witch standing? Like, she doesn't...
But at the same time...
I mean, once again, this episode, she didn't care about anybody else because she was willing to... dump out the wine.
She does care about one other person.
She cares about,
Teen.
What's his name?
They all call him
because
Teen.
because we don't know what his name is.
Yes, because do we presume now that she thinks that is her child?
I mean, that's a weird thing.
I mean, it was interesting
because he's so young, and
I honestly thought that the seal only was like affecting Agatha. I didn't know it was hiding him from all witches.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, it's probably the biggest question mark of the show, and it feels too obvious, or so obvious that it's your son, that it's like, if it gets revealed, you're going to be like, well, okay, yeah, shocking.
Yeah, they've set it up a little too obvious.
Yeah. I think having
this spell... But at the same time, even if, he finds out that maybe she is the mom, for one, why isn't Mephisto still raising him, or whatever? Yeah. Which they finally name-dropped Mephisto, because everything...
Well, every fan had name-dropped Mephisto.
Every theory is
from
Mephisto has done something.
Yes. I like that they embraced Mephisto after WandaVision, yes.
Yes. So that's interesting, that they finally came out and said Mephisto. It's too obvious, but if they do come out and say it's Nicholas Scratch, well then... we have to spend the last bit of the series her reconciling what she did? She traded him for power.
I'm very curious not very curious. I'm not hating it. I'm not loving it. I'm just kind of like, okay, it's fine.
Well,
I am, like I said, I'm kind of curious, like, what the whole, where we are going with this, like.
Well, there's another theory right now that is actually Billy. That somehow he still exists. Wanda's children.
Okay, yeah, I heard that, yes.
Yes, that he's possibly Billy, that maybe she put this spell on him in order to protect him from other witches. Because we know in the comics, her kids, Wiccan, kids, are, Wiccan and Speed or something.
Was it Speed? Why does Speedy come to mind? I know that's wrong, but it's something like that. He is a speedster, but I can't think of the name. Mm-hmm. I'm hating myself.
And then the other hint that we know that he's gay and he has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend in the comics is Hulkling. So, I mean, there's some breadcrumbs that could still be setting up Young Avengers.
That is true.
Because you could have now Wiccan and Hulkling.
Did we get a look or a name when his boyfriend texted him?
No, I think it just says like BF or something.
Yeah, it said something.
Like hot BF. Yeah. It was something like that.
It was something like that. You're right.
I remember whenever the letter or the seal comes over his mouth, it almost looks like an M, which would remind me of Maximoff, Wanda's last name.
Okay. But who put this? I don't.
That's why I'm wondering if she put it on there to protect him from witches. Her being the Scarlet Witch, her destroying all the dark holds, which they don't seem to like.
But she went after her kids in different universes, so where does this... How would she have done that to this one, unless maybe it was a different Wanda?
It's hard to say.
I mean,
if this Wiccan came from a different universe looking for his mother.
This is why I hate multiverses, because you just make things so...
Convoluted
and complex that you're like, well, okay, so because you could essentially just say anything when you have it's just he's from this universe, or there's infinite universes, so I don't know, it's kind of a cop out. I don't like multiverses, but that's
I'm wondering if continuing with the witch trials, if each trial is going to be like which witch got her groove back, because we kind of got a little glimpse of a past fear of each of them, and this one I feel like this is the guy that bound her.
Yeah.
Who tried to kill her in the sink there. He tried to bind her, he bound her powers, but I didn't bind her knowledge, and she can still create potions without being able to actually use the spells to do this instead.
Well, I was thinking each one would kind of have a time to shine, except for, of course,
or at least a time to overcome what event we saw happen to them in the past. With the obvious one being our protection witch needs to overcome the death of her mother, the losing of her mother. Diviner witch has to come over whatever that was.
So is this the show then, just going down the road?
Yeah,
Do you think that
I
is
think
going to
that's
be
the whole show.
completely it? Every
I think
episode
we're
is just
eventually
gonna be...
going to have the Salem 7 coming down the road. Now that they've lost the Green Witch, I assume next episode we're gonna get what's her name, Audrey, that actress, I think so. We're gonna get her back, Blackheart. I'm looking forward to that because I found she was great in Parks and Rec. So
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of that. She's been in something else that I saw too.
Yeah,
and she's just got that dry kind of...
It's perfect. So how long do you think it's going to be before it comes out that Agatha has not been on the road before? Because she was looking a little fishy.
Yeah, it's a couple more
she's just
trials.
like referencing the song like everybody else. She doesn't seem to get it, and she isn't overcoming any of her selfish nature. The rest of them are like, let's bind together and we're gonna do this, and she's still just in it for herself. Like you said, the only one she protected was she didn't want Teen to drink the drink. Could he be somebody who was planted in this group? For, that he'll betray her at the end, that's his role?
Maybe? I don't know. He seems so naive about everything.
But with the sigil and everything, and he knows, I know all about Agatha, could he possibly be a plant?
Potentially.
To maybe convince Agatha that this is your son and you have to protect him. And maybe he's the one who makes it down the road and the rest don't.
It could be something where he is... Agatha's supposed to think that is her son in the end, and it's not, and then... he gets betrayed by him, or
he knows what it is, and he's just been out for revenge the whole time. You never know.
He's Mephisto, for crying out loud.
Ooh, I like that twist.
Yeah, so obviously, there's a twist with him of some kind. Is it going to be the obvious, like, that's my son? Is it going to be the less obvious, I'm Mephisto, or something else? Because it would be kind of ironic if he is Mephisto when that's, like, again, what everybody, if we go back to WandaVision, like, that's the number one theory everybody's going with about... this character's Mephisto. Everybody's Mephisto. He's everywhere. There was a fly in this episode.
Well, even
it's
in She-Hulk, where they were like having Madison made a deal with the devil, and his name was Jake, and
God, yes.
that she was in the Marvel version of Hell.
Yes.
Yeah, so they've been teasing us with Mephisto for a long time. You remember in Loki, where they're like, there was that devil on this thing with the bubble gum, and we're like, it's Mephisto.
Yep.
So how
it's gonna be funny if he's actually not in this. We're kind of getting played again.
He's just getting because
isn't he like in the trailer? Didn't we see him somewhere?
No, we saw like a demonscape type thing, but we didn't really.
I thought we saw like a fiery demon type thing.
Yeah, but I don't think that was Mephisto. I think it was more of like a lady demon of some sort.
Okay,
it's coming.
So he could not.
I also am curious: is Sharon really dead, or the next episode they're going to somehow revive her?
I think she's dead because she's kind of that odd one out where like yet at the same time like you didn't even get any like use out of her. She didn't like get to I don't know.
What are you talking about? She was their canary in a cage.
Well, sure, but
she
you know what I mean. She
guzzled down that wine and had the first reactions to it.
She's not a witch. I mean, maybe she is and doesn't know it, or it's she's kind of been this weird character, so I don't know.
But it's weird because they almost had like a preamble to knowing what each of their fears was. Remember she like looked at when she took the poison and she hit that certain phase, she was like, Wanda, let him breathe. That's like a flashback from Westview.
Yeah.
From what happened in WandaVision.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, like you said, interesting-ish. It's not a masterpiece by any stretch. It's not terrible. It's fine.
I think it's supposed to be a fun adventure, light mystery, light horror, and it's accomplishing those things, and that can be enough.
No,
right?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying like people can enjoy it or like there can't be people loving it. I'm not saying that. Like personally, it's just I don't know that you know me. I'm not like a Halloween.
You're not a Halloween
witchcraft. I tend not to get too interested in that kind of stuff.
Whereas I look forward to spooky season and watching some fun Halloween stuff.
And you'll watch them alone because I just don't care. They just don't scare me. I don't like
to watch them alone because I do get scared.
As I've said probably before, like my logical part of my brain just tells me it's a movie, and that just shuts it down. I don't get scared. I can watch any horror movie alone by myself, and I'm just like,
that's why I like modern horror better because it's less of the what do they call them?
The funny part is
murder
like
orgies. It's less of that, and it's more of the mystery thrillers.
See, I'm the opposite.
Splash of paranormal.
Older movies. If anything's going to give me any kind of scare at all, not scare, but just kind of a creepy vibe, it's the older movies because they just tend to be stranger in a way. Like if you watch something from some horror movie from the 70s or something like that. I don't know.
So how are you feeling about Agatha going forward? You still...
It's fine. It's fine. I don't... Yeah, I mean, it's probably something that if we weren't reviewing it now, if we weren't watching it together, I'd probably like, I might... You know what I mean? I don't dislike it, but it's just not my cup of tea is the problem.
I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it.
Yeah.
It's my nice Halloween fun primer because the leaves have started changing colors in Wisconsin, and this is what I crave. I want fall.
You love your Halloween, your haunted houses, and pumpkins, and you like all that stuff.
So I'm enjoying this. I'm curious if Agatha's going to change in the storyline along the way, because so far she hasn't changed. She hasn't budged a bit. She is self-centered. She is using them. She'll say anything she can to get around doing what she wants to do. I'm curious how she's going to be at the end. I actually do not want them to fully redeem her character.
Yeah, I don't think she will be.
Because this is who she's been for centuries.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a redemption story, or like don't expect Agatha to be like the good witch, in the end and to do the right thing. I actually think it's going to end with her not doing the right thing and betraying whoever.
Yeah. Don't forget,
because that makes more sense.
She killed Sparkles the dog or whatever.
Yes. All right, well, on that note, I think that's all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of episode 3 of Agatha All Along. Tell us what you thought of the series so far. Whatever the case may be, leave a comment below. Let's talk some Marvel. And until next time, thanks for watching.